life before WebSockets. The period, how do we call it? The period before WebSockets. Dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs. What is a period? Can anyone? Period. Mesozoic. Okay, yeah. Now the Mesozoic period. Okay. So, in that period of time, we didn't have WebSockets. And the transferring data, and we still have, this is how we use it now, like how you transfer data between server and the front end, right? Without WebSockets. So you send in a request to the server, and then you're getting response from the server. So request response cycle. Every request has one response, and server can only communicate with clients while client has made a request. So if you want to get anything from the server, you need to send a request, right? So this is typical HTTP. This is how we working with databases, and you've done it a lot already. But so let's think about, we don't have a WebSockets. Let's think about how we can query data to keep the state. Let's say we want to build it. The classic example is to build a chat between two people. And can you please tell me how without sockets you might approach this task? What you can do on the front end, what you can do, I don't know, on the back end maybe, I don't know. What you can do to keep to get latest messages from the other side, from the other client, let's say, from other user. Any ideas? By the way, all of you already know how to do that. You just need to think what it might be. Come on, any ideas are welcome. So look at this scheme, right? So we want to to get the data, we need to send a request, and we will get a response. So what we can do to have the latest message from the other side, from the third or from the second user or laptop in this case. Come on, Cito, don't be shy.
No, I was thinking. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like using Express and like you do like get and post on each request and response?
Yeah. So that, this is Express. You're right. So this is what we. I'm not talking about something very specific. How you tell me the function, how you'll write it. It's about. I have a user, right? One laptop. And I open the chat application, and I send a message, and the other user should get it. And this other user can get it if it asks for the update from the database, from the server, to get the latest message, and it will get that message. And if it's sent, you will send your post request to the server, and this user can get your message only if it sends the request to the server and get a response. Then it will get your message. So how you can keep updated or get this message from the server?
I think every time we will have to refresh the database and
yeah. So from the
have to request from the API.
You're right. So from the backend perspective, when you send the request, you send the post request, and you store in this message on your server. Right. What about client?
Client have to request get.
Yeah,
get
absolutely. You're absolutely right. So how you can do that to without manually just get latest message button or whatever?
It's something like we database, real-time database.
I mean, yeah, but you still need to send the request. And how
Yeah.
you can approach to send this request so you will get latest messages.
Do you use like kind of set interval, something
Yep,
like that?
exactly. Thank you. So you basically creating like a set interval loop, and you querying your server every, I don't know, 500 milliseconds or every second or every 2 seconds, right? And you constantly sending your requests to the server to get the latest messages, right? So what is the potential flow of that? By querying your server in that way.
You might lost the previous data. Don't know.
So the correct answer is that you will ping your server, and your server might not handle that many queries. Imagine you have not 2 users, you have thousands users, millions, and they all of them just pinging your server. They will kill your server, right? With these pings. But we call that method or that approach polling. So you basically send in queries for the data regularly or with the interval, as you said. So you basically have your interval and you query all the time, which will work. And sometimes we also they found the way, let's say in JavaScript, that we actually can do long polling. So we send the request to the server, and we not getting response until, so let me show you the code example, some code example, because you need to kind of guess. So imagine that we did all setup and we have app.get, right? I'm not doing all setup, but we have this. Ooh. What is that? Request response, right? So I'm getting the get requests like messages, and I need to wait until somebody will send another message. So I need to wait for that, right? So first approach, polling, is about just constantly sending requests, and if you send in this with interval, if you send in that every minute, the next message you will get in a minute, right? Because you will get that interval of 1 minute. And if you use this approach, long polling, you might get your message immediately. But how to do that? So what do you think? Like, I'm sending the query, the get request. I'm here, right? And we still don't have the message from the other side. What we can do? What we can use? The hint is that the subject. This is the hint for the current cohort. That this is the subject that we haven't Thank you. Promises. Exactly. So that means that you basically create a promise. So if you get another message from the other side, you will resolve this promise. And this is long query, long polling, right? So you basically send in requests, waiting until the other side sends something, and then it will be resolved and send the response back. And in that time, you might send another request to the server. So it's kind of reducing the amount of query, right? queries to the server, because you don't just ping every second, you're waiting for the next message from the other side. So still, it's already better than it was, right? And it has, so here basically the description, but this is what we just discussed. And it has quite a few issues. We have quite a few issues with that. And this is really funny. I haven't seen such documentation. I mean, the formatting, the CSS guru probably styled this one, but this is official long polling documentation. And I want to emphasize, the CSS guru created this page. Right? Perfect. Beautiful one. Look at this font. Yeah. So, if you want, you can read, like, they explaining every single bit, what's going on, why you can see potential issues, what kind of issues, etc. They have quite a few pages. But yeah, it's boring. I hate to read such things. But yeah, so these two approaches that we had before, and we still use it sometimes. We still use it. We have like a use cases for that. We also have server sent events, server push. So that means basically the same long polling, but from the server side. So that means that that will be driven from the server. So your server has some asynchronous code, and it will wait for the response for some data from one side, and then that will trigger to send it back to the other side. So here's the probably better wording. The data to the server push the data to the client once the client server connection is established, right? So when you set the connection, you send in data. The server can then send data whatever a new piece of data is available. It can be called as a one-way publish subscribe model. Again, it has some specific use cases, but today, after all of that, we got to WebSockets. And the WebSocket is basically a tunnel where you can send data in both directions. It also has some own problems, but we will talk about it a bit later. So with WebSockets, we have a client to server connection. So we establish in connection, and we basically can send request and response in both directions. So you basically kind of like playing tennis. You send in something to one side, and you can receive something from another side. And this is like it will be on event. If somebody sent from other side the data, you can receive it. So it uses TCP, which is Transmission Control Protocol, and yeah, whatever the server receives new information, it automatically sends it to the client. Okay, any questions so far?
So it is only for chat application, or any other things we can use it?
So not just chat, because again, you have the task to build so WebSockets are very useful for projects where you need to have a real-time data. And why we decided actually to give you this stock market application to build, because this one requires real-time data.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the whole point. That if you need a real-time data, then you kind of want to use WebSockets. Any other questions? Nope. Okay, so the WebSockets, like in general, WebSockets. is the native protocol. It's just a native protocol. So WebSocket, and yeah, of Java. This is native protocol for JavaScript. But to be honest, this is the syntax. I've never worked with native one because people normally use some libraries, as you might guess. Especially after Node module, you probably see that everything is library, right? If HTML is everything is a box, here it's everything is a library. So we have a few. We have Socket.io for Node.js. Again, if you click on each later when you work with our slides, you can click and you have a link. We have some for, you might guess, for Python. It's hard to not guess if you have for Python. And we have Signal R, which is for .NET. And yeah, in our case, because we're working with Node, we will use Socket.io. We also have the full list of libraries here. And you might see that, you might guess that we have quite a few. So you're selecting by language, right? C, C++, agnostic, any language, C#, Erlang, Go, whatever you want, any. Even like if you go to, where's our Node.js? Node.js, we have quite a few, right? Quite a few libraries. The Socket.io is just very, very popular. And let me just go to npm Socket.io. So yeah, you might see that 3.5 weekly millions downloads. Quite a few downloads. Yeah. So, and yeah, so today we will talk about the Socket.io, and we will build some simple application. This one is very good article to read, where they explaining what is the difference, pros and cons between polling, SSE, this is server-side events, and WebSockets. And here they are explaining basically why you want to use one or another, with examples, some graphs, etc. All explanations. Hope you will enjoy it. Yeah. So setup. For the setup, okay. Before we start with the setup and some practice, any questions? No. Okay. So setup. We need to set up a client and the server, right? So we can somehow communicate. We can have a few clients, but today we will talk about the client. I want to actually build like peer-to-peer messenger between server and the actual client. So this is basically the basic setup for Socket.io on the client side. So you need to add your Socket.io. So this one, like / means that you just use your npm package file. You can use CDN. They have like Socket.io. They have a few CDNs. Socket.io CDN. And yeah. They have their own CDN, which is quite old, to be honest. They have a newer one, 2.0. Oh, sorry, 2.01. 2.03. So yeah, basically you can use their CDN rather than just your package. Let me actually check what is the latest version. Socket.io npm. So on the website is oh, look at this. So if you use the package, you have the later version, right? I mean the newer version. Yep. But they provide some CDNs if you want. Then you want to initialize the socket. So you basically create initializing the socket because you'll get it from here. And then to send a message, you just do socket emit and event name. So this event name should match with event name on the other side. So if you emitting socket emit event name, let's say, I don't know, send a message or message event or whatever, and you send in your message, on the other side, you will have socket on, so when you're getting, when you're receiving, and that should be the same. So like message event. Otherwise, you will mismatch them and you will not get your message. And on the so basically on the front side and backend side, it is the same. So socket emit to send the message in one direction, and socket on to get the message, to receive the message. So let's start actually create something. Let's think. Let me just npm init -y. Oh, great. It's nice to initialize the project in trash, right? The best place for the project. Ch. Okay. Yeah. So we want to have okay, dear lesson, lesson, and we have save code. Sorry, we need to create. Yeah, so npm init -y, and now we want to create, what do we want to, we want to have a front. Let's start with what? Let's start with our with socket.io package, right? Or with the front end actually. Let's do with the front end. So we have the lesson. We probably want to have some public folder, so we will serve our, you know, that static, your static data we normally put into public. There's something that will be sent to the user public, and there we want to have our index.html, right? So here we will have our, I don't know, chat. So this is the client side, and we need to do some setup. So let's add our, so before I can do this, I actually need to install our sockets.io npm package. Sorry, I need to install it. Just this. npm install. While we are doing this, I want to have install my express. Okay, so now script, and do they have actually front-end setup? Do they? No, I think no, okay. Yeah, so socket.io, let me just rewrite it. Socket.io, socket.io.js. So source, this one, right? Yoo-hoo, we have our socket.io on the front end. And basically what do we need to do? Let's do it for now here. Script socket equals io, right? So initializing, we have an instance of our socket. this is it, pretty much. The server side setup, it's a bit kind of tricky, I don't know, complicated. So let's start with our Express. So do you want to, ooh, what did I do? Okay, so do you want to create, I don't know, do you want to have an index on this level, maybe, or the app level? Let's do touch index.js. So we have it here. So first thing is const express equals express, right? This is the first thing, as usual. The next thing is const app is our express, right? Next thing that we want to have is const http require http, and this is because we want to create actual server for our WebSocket. So we need to use our HTTP. You also can use HTTPS, but today we'll talk about HTTP. Because with HTTPS you need to provide certificates as arguments, but yeah, we don't have any certificates and we will not work with them. So HTTP, then we want to have const, I don't know, server. That will be HTTP create server, and here we will use our app, right? Because we want to link our Express with our server. So now let me just, we want to listen 3000. Come on. And console log server listening on port 3000. Beautiful, like autocomplete. Love it. Okay, so let's run our node daemon index. Yeah, we have our server. So let's serve something. Let's actually serve our index page. If anyone can remind me how to serve a file, that would be great. Hey, h1. Hello, I'm too old to remember such things. Anyone? So I want to, on the route, I want to send the file back. So let's start with route with get requests. Tell me how to create it. Come on.
Server.get. Oh, you need to. Do you need the FS or not? You're not using.
No, not now. No, I don't. I don't work with FS here. So
server.get.
Sorry. Server. What we want to create an Express server, Express endpoint. So we link in our Express to the server. All we need to do is just do our app, because we working with our Express. What's next? Oh, come on.
It's showing.
It's annoying. Okay. Do you know, by the way, that this plugin is just going nuts? Because I, on my work at work, I'm using this plugin, and when I'm creating testing files or like any files, and I'm starting with the same things, it actually learned that, and next time it just suggesting me what I want to write. It's just crazy. Okay, yeah. So I want to send it back, right? My file. How to send the file? So we know that .send will send some data, but we want to send file. So we want to do what?
JSON.
No, we want to send actual file, not JSON. It's simpler than you think. We want to send file.
I see.
Never gonna guess, right? And yeah, so we have that in public folder, right? So we can do something like public index.html. So let's actually try. Move on fast. Beautiful. See, this is the problem. Must be absolute. And what it means that it should start from here, from the .user, which is not very nice, right? So we need, you know that with Express, you can have like middlewares with app.use, right? And here you can use your Express static and provide your public folder. Public. Let's try again. Woohoo! Right, so we send in our file back.
Still,
Yep.
you know how AppViews has a lot of like express.json and stuff.
Yep.
Can you just like write it like on the next line, whatever you want, or will it like overwrite to be the previous one?
No. So you will add in another middleware.
Okay, so it's just different then.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, that's good.
Express.json. You will have two. Yep.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, so we have Express, right? We have the server. Now we need to add our I/O. So I think we've added, right? Did we? Yeah, we installed that. So we want to have our const, let's say I/O to be consistent, and we want to have socket.io, right? This is the name of the package, socket.io, and that will return our socket.io. We can theoretically name it socket.io, and then have const io, have socket, and call it with our server. So we will link to our server to connect to the server. This is pretty much it. Let me check. I probably haven't missed anything. Oh yeah, so I'm doing that here a bit different way. So basically, because this one returning me a function, right? So basically this is a function as a result. I can just invoke this function with the server. But you can assign to the variable and then invoke it as a separate thing. Yeah. Okay, and to have your socket listening, you just doing your I/O on connection. Yep. So what we want to have here, I/O dot on. So when you connect, connection, then you will get your socket and I don't know, let's console log something. Let's console log socket ID. Maybe have socket ID, right? So we don't have anything here because we're not connecting that on this side, right? This one. Let me just. All right, wait a second. I think that's we're actually connecting it here. Let me refresh. We got connection. Woohoo! Right? We have a connection. So we can theoretically we establish connection and we can send a message. So let me actually do something on the front end. Let's emit any event. Like we have socket. How to send event? How to send a message?
Emit? Was it emit?
Yep.
Can't remember.
Emit. Thank you. You just keep suggesting me. Come on. Yeah. So let's call it message event, right? Event. And let's say hello from the client. Yeah. So we're sending some message to the backend. Yeah. So let's actually receive this message. So here I can have my socket dot. Keep suggesting me. It's not fun. And what do I want to have here?
Message.
Message like what message?
A message.
Message what?
Message event.
Yeah, message event. And the second argument will be a callback function because you're receiving your message. Right? And let's console log our message. A message. Is it? Yeah, a message. So we establish the connection, refresh the page. Hello from the client. Look at us. We're already talking. The next step, probably learn how to walk. Okay, but we want to create a peer-to-peer application. That was my plan for today, to create peer-to-peer chat. Because your home task will be to create the actual chat with a room. So where you can communicate, many people can communicate. When they connect to the server, they can communicate with each other, but this is the home task. For now, I want to build some peer-to-peer. Okay, great. So we want to have, let's actually write something here. So I need to build some front end. So let's say create some UL with UL messages, right? So I have my messages where I will put all my messages, and the next one I want to have my form, right? Because my form should have an input, so I can provide my message. Placeholder, type your message. Yeah. And I want to have submit. So button submit, right? So we probably want to be more semantic and provide type submit. Okay, let's check our crazy design. Yoo-hoo, yeah. Awesome. So let me just create, probably I want to wrap it into some div, put it in the middle. Let me just do that quickly. Messenger. Is this correct word? No, messenger. And put these two inside. I just want to quickly style it somehow. Style. And here we have what? Messenger dot messenger. Come on. Why am I doing this? Okay, so messenger, and here I want to have, I don't know, height 500 pixels, width 300 pixels, like an application, right? Background color some actual, and so for my body, I probably want to have body, let's say height. Sorry, I will do that quickly. DH. Then display flags, right? Justify content, center, align items, center. Let's refresh. Beautiful, look at this, almost nice app. And for my form, because the messenger, yeah, for my form, I want to have position absolute, right? Position absolute, bottom, how the typical messenger looks like. Bottom 0, left 0, width 100%. And what is the issue? If I have absolute here, I want to position absolutely to this one. What do I need to add? So if I do that here, you can see my form is there. Almost.
Position relative.
Yep, exactly. Position relative. Refresh. Beautiful, look at this. So for my form, I also want to set display flags, and for my input, I would say input. Input what? Should flags grow 1. Beautiful. The best design ever. Probably I will change some height. Let's add some padding. Padding 1M. And the same for the button. Right? Padding. I'm sorry. Button. Padding 1M. Yep. Great. Best messenger ever. Okay. So let's actually start listening it. So tell me please, how should I listen my form and input? So what I want to do basically, I have an input. When I hit submit, I want to send my message to the backend, right? What should I do? Form handling. All of you done it. DOM manipulation, events, listeners.
We have to use a pattern, like have to select query select pattern and event.
So
on click event.
Yeah, first of all, we want to select. Just keep saying me document query selector our form, right? Because we want to listen form submission. This is the first step. Next thing is now we can work with our form.
Add event mission.
Submit. Then we have event. And what if we have form submission and what do we want to do when we submit? First thing.
Prevent.
Yep, exactly. Event. Prevent default. Yeah. Okay. So now we have basically the second part is to get our input. So input equals event dot target not this query selector input, right? So we have our input and now we can get our value. Beautiful. So we don't want to have our emit from here. We want to actually emit a message from here. And we want to send the message, the input value, right? Looks about right. So we've sent in message to the server. So let's actually try. So we've sent message events, sent in messages. Great, great. Okay, so refreshed, right? New thing. No messages. Let's do hello. Submit. Hello. Let's try again. Hello. Again. Hello again. Look at this. Communicating. Okay, so a few tweaks. First of all, when I'm submitting, I want to add actually this to my DOM, right? To my UL messages. So let's have another messages equals document query selector dot messages. And I want to add a lie there, right? Every time. So messages dot inner HTML. Do I want to do equal, or what do I want to do? Li. Here I want to have my input value, right? Do I want to have equal? Let's try. So refresh. See, I'm replacing. What do I want to do?
Plus equal.
Yep, plus equal. Thank you. Yeah, so now we're adding the next step after we doing all of that. We want to reset our form. So we have our event dot target dot reset, as I remember. I might be wrong. Let's try. So, hello. Yes. How are you? Great. See, that server getting these messages. So now I want to start responding from the server. Imagine that you can talk with your server, right? This is insane, but come on, we are developers. We're definitely not normal. So we have something here, and we want to get some messages from the server. How we can handle something? So what I want to do is when I'm receiving the message here, I want to be able to respond, to type in my terminal and respond, right? How can I do that? Remember the first module, and how did we collect data from the terminal? Anyone? The whole project. 4 weeks of your life. Okay. So do you remember that read line sync package that allows you to collect data from the terminal? So we probably need this package, right? So let's stop our server, and we have what? npm install Great. Look at that. So we want to have red line sync require this one, right? So now when I'm getting a message, I want to actually collect some response. Question and let's say your response, right? And then what I want to do, I want to send it back, right? How to do that? Anyone? Come on, we just did it here. How to send a message?
Is it the same? Socket.emit?
Yep, socket.emit. Socket.emit. And here we have the same name of the event. And then we have our response. Right? So send it back. Beautiful. Now we want to catch it. How do we catch things? So it shouldn't be inside our submit because this is just a form. So that should be outside. So, but how do we catch? Socket dot what? Nah. Message. Sorry. Yeah, it just autocomplete. Crazy autocomplete. So message event. And what do we do next? Message, right? And we want to do basically the same that we are doing here. We want to add it to the DOM. Right? Pretty simple. But actual message. Yeah. Okay. So what do I want to do? I want to refresh the page, right? Would be nice to actually run the server. Not that one. So we are running the server. No connections, but if I refresh, it will establish connection, right? And this is the idea of the connection, of the client, basically. So let's try. Hello. Look at this, your response. Hey, yeah. Look at this. We're communicating, right? How are you? This is what I normally do at home in the evening, just talking to myself. With Websockets, of course. Yeah, so we can do, I'm good. Right, so we can send messages in both directions. It's not very actually useful here because I don't know who's writing. So you can tweak a bit. Let's actually do make it nice. Everything should be nice. Right? So what do we want to do here? First of all, we want to add a name collection somehow, right? We want to collect the name and have the user. Right? Or let's actually, for now, let's call it a guest. Right? So every time you send in a message, you just you have a guest as a guest. From the server side, when you send in a message, oh, this is here, server, right? Like this. And let me actually make it slightly nicer. So a lie, we have what? List style. Not a lie. UL. Come on. UL. List style. None. Right, and padding 0. That should be it. So refresh. Right. No daemon. Okay, so hello guest. Hell, beautiful. Indeed. Right? So you already have peer-to-peer communication. And you can send messages, and can you imagine that? So we have a guest, but to show you that you can actually have multiple users, you can, what you can do? We can use not the, where is it? Not the guest, but we can use socket ID, right? Socket.id, so we can somehow recognize who's typing. So for now, it doesn't make a difference because we have just one. Hello, right? Hello. And here, hi. And you have the server. Hey, where's my hi? Where's my hi? Let me restart the server. No daemon is funny sometimes. Refresh. Hello. Hi. Yeah, it is working, right? But imagine that we have another user. Yo, yo. Wait a second. Right, sorry. So we want to have this message in all sides. So basically this is peer-to-peer, but we should be able to connect to the same thing. Let me just double check that. So we have our IO. We have just different. Yeah, right, sorry. I need to restart the server, that should work. So refresh. We have one connect, oh, we have two connections, right? Let me refresh this one, refresh. Yeah. Typing hello. Right, I know what's going on. What's going on? Let me start with node index. As I said, no daemon might be funny. Refresh, refresh. Hi. What's going on? Why it's not here? Let me just try to send message. Oh right, yeah, because I'm terminating it here. So if I stop terminating and have it like this, so when somebody sends in a message, right, and I'm receiving it here, I'm sending it back. And that means that on the front end, I'm not adding it here. I will always be adding that from here. So it's not server, it's just a message. Let me try. Stop again. Node. Refresh. Refresh. I hope that will work. So, hello. You got to be kidding. Why it doesn't work? Let me check that. Right, I think I know. Because we are sending to one socket and we want to actually send to all sockets. And that is io.sockets. Sockets, right? Let's try again. I think that should work. I'm pretty sure that should work. So yeah, I need to stop again because it's not updating. refresh. Okay, let's try again. Hello. Yay! Hi. Look at us, we can communicate here, right? So that means that you want to send to all sockets, to everyone that is connected to this event, not just to one socket. And the only problem here that we can't recognize it. So how we can add some names to each? Let's add. So first thing, we can use actual ID, right? Socket ID, and pass it there. But what if you want to pass the actual name? Let's actually collect that name from the user. So let me just here at the very beginning, I want to have what? Another form with input placeholder, provide and name, right? And we have submit button, submit, like this. So we need to have, give me a second here, some class which should be what? A message form. Here that should be class name form. Let's see how it will look like. That's interesting. Oh, right, because our styling is odd. Because we want to do message form. Save. Good. You probably want to have flex direction here. Flex direction column. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that we want to quickly resolve, I'm writing this JavaScript here because just to save the time. You can create another JavaScript file, right, and have it. Give me a second. Form, not this one. We want to have. Where's the message form? This one, message form. Form. One event listener, and the second event listener we have a name form, which will be name form. And we want to create actually let name because we want to redefine it, and by default that will be guest, right? And then what we will do on submit, prevent default, target that one, and then name equals our name, right? Let's actually do that. And right, let's do this. That we can't connect. So how to replace this element? So what I want to do when I provide a name, hit submit, I want to remove the form and put the name on top. So when I hit submit, I want to set the name. So first of all, I want to remove the form, right? Remove. Another thing, I want to my body document body dot. Is it prepend? Is it? Do you remember prepend? And HTML.js. Anyone? I think it's prepend. Yeah. You have? Yeah, looks like prepend. Let's try prepend. And I want to prepend my name, the name, right? You don't even need then this one. Yeah, let's keep it. So Alex. Yoo-hoo! Yep. So now what I want to do here in my when I'm sending the message, I don't want to send just a message here, emit, not just a message. You might guess that we can send what? What kind of type of data we can send? Come on. So message is what kind of type?
String.
Yes, and we can send some because we want to have a name and the value and the actual message. What we can send?
Array.
Can we recognize that then? How we will get the data from the array? We can send an array. But what is a better type to send different things?
Object.
Object. So we will have name, right? And because the variable name is the same, we have name, and we have message, which will be this input value, right? And this is what we will receive here. Message, I don't know. I don't know. How do we want to call it? Can you suggest any good name? So we have message and the name. Okay, something ugly, message object. Or I can be smart, and have name and message, right? To avoid this silly name. So name, message, and we already send in that. Okay, but on the back end, I need to handle this. I need to, so here is not a message, it's same thing, name and message, right? And I don't want to log it here anymore. I want to send it back, this object, or just, okay, here let's say message object, and we will send it back, right? So it's like a transfer, like a pool, which will receive and send it back to everyone. So let's try. Refresh the page. And I want to stop this. Restart. Sorry. Let's again. Refresh. Alex. Hit enter. Here I want to have, I don't know, sale. And let's do another one. I know, Sam. So we have 3 people. So, hello. Look at us. And Sam says, hi, Alex. See? Isn't that beautiful? So we can communicate. And this is very simple. It's immediately you get your messages. Hey team. and you can see that we have, and it would be nice to split the screen. Let me just do that. So you will see that it's actually happening. Beautiful. So we can remove the cell from here, leave just Alex and Sam. So how are you? See how fast it is. We can go even further and we can have something like typing, right? Can we? Like to see that somebody is typing. So let's actually do that. So first of all, to handle on the front end, how we can handle the typing?
Maybe on change.
On
change.
almost. It's good that you remember React. Any other suggestions? So let me just, this is message form, and in message form we have our dot query selector, and we have our input, and we have add event listener, and there key down, right? So key down, we want to do what? We want to emit a new event, socket dot emit, and the event, so like socket.io has a few reserved words, and one of them is typing. And you basically you can send something again as usually. So let's say we have name, right? So typing and the name. This is what we send into the server. Yeah, does it make sense? And here on the back end, we will do socket dot on typing. We will send it back. Data. And we want to send the data back. So we want to just do socket. Socket. To send, what do we do? What do we do?
Emit again.
Emit. Yep. And typing.
In line 21, why do we use the IO dot sockets?
Because we want to send to all sockets, to all connections.
Oh, okay.
Right? Not socket, but sockets. So we have not just communicating with one, let's say, tunnel with one socket, but with many. And that is why we are able to send message, like redirect message to everyone who's connected.
Right.
Okay, so we're sending typing and data back. So now we want to catch it, right? Socket dot on typing. We want to do something. So message, or I don't know, data. In our case, it's actually name, right? Because this is just a string. And what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Pum, 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 pum. Actually, add something to the DOM and remove it when it's not typing, right? So let me just how do we add in it? messages this, but with some ID equals typing. Like this. So let's test it. I'm not sure, of course, but let's actually test it. Where's my, sorry, stop, restart, 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 X 0. So I don't think that it's catching, right? It's not catching. Yeah, so it is working like this. Give me a second. I might missing something. Sockets IP. Pam 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 pam. Typing through. What's going on? Server. 1 second. They killing me with their all right, so if it's typing, we emitting data, or we just, why do they emit like side? Wait a second. How to check if the server is typing? Why do they use jQuery everywhere? Emit is typing. Yeah, okay. What do they do here? Pam 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 pam. Wait a second. Yeah, maybe this one still. I don't remember. So this is your front end. Ooh, it's definitely over engineering. Give me a second. What their official doc says? Socket IO. Come on. Okay, wait a second. So we have typing. Let me just console log the whole object. That might be faster. So log data. So if somebody, right, now the index, refresh, connected. If somebody start typing, getting object Alex. If it stop typing, we won't. Okay, so it is typing. We're triggering this one. Why we're not getting this one? Any ideas? Any ideas? Why we're not getting? Okay. Console log front end. So if I start, this is the front end. Okay. So we need to inspect here. Message is not defined. Maybe that is why. Because we have a syntax error. That is true. What is that? Sorry, message is not defined. Right, this one. is typing. That is why we don't have it. Typing. Sometimes it's nice to debug. Yeah, see? It would be nice, of course, to have some debounds, but we don't want to add. We actually want to show that somebody's typing. So we don't want to add on each press. We probably want to be more sophisticated and see if it exists. So const, let me check. Const typing element, document, query selector, ID, sorry, typing, right? If it's true, see? Then, so it's not true, see? Then add this. Else, what do you want to do? We want to remove it. Just remove, right? So if somebody is typing, we want to add it. If not, remove it. So let's try. Here, refresh. So we have two connections. Alex. And what? Sam. Right. You probably want to don't render it here. We want to send. Yes. How do you want to handle it? So see that I'm rendering that on this page. If type in element, right? And we trigger in this one. So how do you want to kind of tell the other side that it is typing? You notice that here they passing as typing, right? So you don't want to do it here with this one all the time. You want to have not just the name, you also want to have typing. And then that means that here you want to pass that. Typing. We have data and we have typing. Is it correct? Is it correct? Anyone? So what do we do here? When we, on the front end, when we key down, right? Where's the key down? Key down. We want to send typing, and we want to set probably, actually, maybe this one is better. So we have name and we have typing true, right? So we send in that there, and then we receiving it, but this is the same. Wait a second, maybe we can avoid it. It's always interesting which way is better. It's always funny to test. Alex, Sam, and define is typing. Beautiful. Why name? Oh, right, because we have name. That is why name. It still says it here that it is typing. Why? Anyone? So when I type, I'm emitting an event, and that means that if I'm typing, it sends. So when I'm typing, I'm catching this event, take the name, emitting typing back with parameter typing. All right.
In line 82, do we need to add typing after name?
No, because this is what I was thinking, and basically it should be true, and this is what we're doing here, right? We just hard coding true on the back end. So if the typing here, then you want to do this, else you want to remove. Let's try. Refresh, refresh. Let me just actually console log, are we actually getting here to the typing? So I want to do console log typing. Stop, start it again. Refresh, refresh. So I have typing here. Right? Why I don't have it here? Why we're not? Oh, right. Why we're not having here? So what do we need to do? Why we are getting message for everyone but not getting typing for everyone? You already asked me why we have IO sockets.
IO sockets.
Right? Because we want to send to everyone. So refresh, refresh. Alex. So, right? Right, wait a second, we just set in equal, right? Is it? Yeah. So we want to have plus. Let's try to do that. We need to do some debounds because right, so when you type in, you see it's blinking. We want to have some timeout before we remove it. Yeah. So we will prevent this kind of blinking thing. But yeah, and they are actually doing in their example, they have some timeout. So when you key press, start typing, we have some timeout before you actually doing something else. But this is another thing. And also we have disconnect, so we can do disconnect. If somebody leaves, it will do disconnect. This is just socket dot, again, emit. You're just doing your disconnect, and you can send something. Oh, sorry, not like this. When you send in something, you just do disconnect it. Oh, actually, yeah, sorry, my bad. You don't want to emit here, you want to have here on. Then you have your, let's say, user ID or name. You want to pass a name. And here you will have your socket emit. IO sockets, right? IO sockets emit. Disconnect. And then you send the name. Right? As a hub. So you're receiving and sending back to everyone. And here you'll have your, let's just console log it. Yep. So here, what do we want to have? Let me just double check again with socket disconnect, because they have some method on their, oh yeah, socket close. So they have, what do they have? Socket IO. Close. Disconnect the socket manually. Yeah. So we can theoretically check for the if the mouse is out of the view, you can track that with JavaScript. And when you close, so basically we can disconnect. We can add the button disconnect and trigger the disconnect and handle that. You might also have, when you just move out from the view, it will disconnect you. Or so it can be more sophisticated. I just want to show you that we actually can disconnect. And yes, the other thing that I want to show you is, for now, with Socket.io is broadcast. So for now, we are sending to everyone, right? Sockets emit. But we have on the front end, we have just one socket. We have just one socket. We can create a socket, I don't know, 2, right? And have the same IO. And that will be the separate tunnel that you can handle. And here, for example, you can have, what do I want to do? Let's say message, I don't know, something like that. Message, and here I just want to console log message. So now, if I'm receiving something, let me just create another one. Socket. Let's say if I receive on my message event any message, I want to do socket dot broadcast. So will send my message to everyone besides the current socket. So emit. What was the just message, right? Or let's use the message event, so you'll see that it just cast into the second one. Message event. And we're sending hello. And I will put my console log to this one as well, so you'll see that I'm not actually getting just socket. To both, I'm getting to the one. So start it, refresh. If I hit submit, right, so I sent the message. Okay, I sent the message, but if I remove my message from here, sorry for confusion. So if I send my message, you can see that I'm getting only on the second channel. I'm not getting on the first channel. right? So I'm not triggering this one socket, I'm triggering socket 2. And this is because we use broadcast. It basically sent into every other socket besides the one that you got from the message you got from. Does it make sense? Anyone? Okay. So basically, what you need to remember from sockets is like the starting point with your sockets is to send the message, you're just doing emit. To receive it, you're doing on. And if you want to send to everyone, I probably should add it. You're just doing IO sockets, right? And you'll get message for everyone. You'll send it. So this is important part. As you can see, we forgot about that today with our typing. But if you go to our socket IO, they have the documentation where you can play with it. They have rooms where they explaining how to work with rooms, what it means, etc. They have some namespaces. Yes, it is IO. What do you mean by for all? When you receive it as a client, you receiving as a one person, so you can't receive, but you emit to everyone. You can emit to everyone, right? So if you subscribe to the channel, to some socket, you're not receiving for everyone. You're receiving for yourself, and each instance receiving for itself. So there is no such thing as IO sockets on, because each socket has a separate thing, separate instance. Yeah. No. Mushtaq? Yeah, so each receiver is basically still like we had on a client side, we have just one, right? So you have just one person. And every time I'm opening this file in a new window, I'm getting my unique ID for the client, and I have this socket there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the problem that is very popular with WebSockets is that you don't have a way to track the item and the traffic to which channel you can send. It's very hard to do because you have a lot of channels and you can't identify each message to where it should go. So that might be tricky. This is like a real problem for people. That is why sometimes like polling might be better solution. But this is a huge subject and you don't need to worry about that now. So yes. Okay, so yeah, your homework will be to build the actual like this WebSockets and create a chat room for a few clients. And you may combine it with the serverless. You can deploy to the Firebase, and we can chat with. You can send a public link, and we can chat there. Huh? How fun is that? I see your excited faces. Yeah. So let's do that. Public chat and serverless, deploy to Firebase, and let's have fun there. Okay, I think this is it. Do you have any questions?